It sure has been a while, hasn't it? And I know that OBS still isn't completely smooth, but Lexart and I actually did figure something out, which I hope is currently making the recording slightly smoother. Obviously, it's not fully better yet, but it's definitely better than the first video's frame rate, I hope. But with that little disclaimer, let's start the video. Now, you may think, Xorkent, you've already shown us that thing. Well, the first thing that I'm going to show you to kick off this video is we have a newer zenith now. Yeah, so Mr. Devil has updated this zenith. As I think I said in the first video, he has been working on a newer version of the zenith, so we're just gonna fire it. So as you can see, the little dust-like particle has been replaced with the actual swoosh-looking thing. And obviously the biggest difference is instead of just the zenith, you now have we now have, just like in the original game, we now have all the different swords that make up the zenith in its swinging animation. And you can spam this and it gets pretty insane. But yeah. So the zenith is even more OP than it was already. Now, speaking of Mr. Devil, there is something I have to say about that. Look how small that thing is. It's so big in your hand, but it's so tiny on the ground. Anyway, Mr. Devil has actually left the team. It's not that he didn't want to work on the Terraria add-on anymore. I guess it is partly that. He definitely hasn't lost interest in it, but he's just more interested in doing other things right now. I think currently he's working on a Left 4 Dead 2 add-on, and that actually kind of looks really cool, so you guys should go check that out. But yeah, officially he's no longer part of the team. He is still in the dev Discord though, and he still gives some feedback on, like, say, one of Harem or Lexart's models, one of the systems I made. He's like, maybe it would be a bit better if you did this instead of that. Like, he is still giving feedback on our stuff, even though he's not part of the team anymore, which is nice, because that shows that he, you know, still cares about the add-on and its development. But we are not going to see anything coming directly from him anymore. So Mr. Devil, as I said in the first video, was working on the bosses. The bosses are now in my hands now. I'm the guy who works on the bosses. Oh, before I get carried away, I completely forgot that that this happened after update 1. 2 more people joined the team. So one of them is a guy called Benji N. He makes music, and obviously since the Terraria music is copyrighted, we can't use it, so he's going to make remixes that we're going to use for our add-on. And the second guy is that text that popped up on the screen now. That's his username. I don't really know how to pronounce it. It's either a Giles Gamer or a Giles Gamer. He speaks Spanish, so I'm leaning towards a Giles Gamer instead of a Giles Gamer. But still, he is another coder. He's made flails, which I am going to showcase right now. So he has currently made 4 flails, and I don't know what's going on with the inventory thing. There's like a gold bar here when it should be here. It's really weird. But he's made flails, which, first of all, not only look super cool when you hold them, but I'm going to try my best to show you here. It's not very easy to see this in third person. Okay, so contrary to what my figurine on the top left corner did, it does not throw down. It throws kind of sideways. Yeah, right, just like that. So this is kind of the best angle. Alright, and we're going to do the flower pow, the flaming mace, the regular mace, and that is currently it. Look pretty cool. Yeah. So the Sun Fury does light on fire. The flaming mace also lights the enemies on fire, although for a slightly shorter amount of time. And I'm going to actually show you how we do the fire, because, I mean, I think we can all agree this is going to be a pretty big add-on, so me showing you one tiny little thing about how one tiny little part of our add-on works, I don't think people are really going to mind that much. Let's summon in a creeper, and let's do the fire. Now, whether you know this or not, I'm going to tell you, there is no way to manually set an entity on fire in the vanilla game. Yes, flint and steel, but I'm talking in terms of JSONs, like entity events. There is no way to manually set an entity on fire in the vanilla game. So to do it, you have to create your own entity, which will, you know, ignite. Like, you basically give it an attack that lights the enemy on fire. And this is cool, so I'm gonna delete this. Alright, so let's count how many times this creeper gets hurt, and you'll be able to hear it. Alright, so that was 3 times. Let's do it again. 3 times. Now watch this. Alright, and now we're going to do 8. Okay, well, I think you get the point. We can control how long the entity will be on fire for, which is a very nice thing, and by the way, if you haven't figured out yet, that entity is going to be used for Terraria's on fire debuff, and using this particular method, which I'm not going to reveal the actual JSON code for because I feel like that might be a little too much, we can control how long the debuff will last. And if I go into survival, so this is a hellstone brick, obviously. Pretty cool, right? I'm gonna do it again. Yep. So the burning debuff is actually a different entity. This entity's fire, I guess you could say, only lasts for 1 second because it is the burning debuff, and just like in the actual Terraria game, the moment you step off Hellstone or Meteorite, you stop burning. So there really is no reason to make the fire effect on the burning debuff last any longer than 1 second. Right. Now, as you can see, I've laid out all the blocks that I've done so far. The life crystal texture has broken. I'm not entirely sure why, but I'll fix that after this video. And as you can see, a lot has been added. We have the obsidian chest, and that's right, people. We have a working door. And this is not going to be the only one either. There are going to be a lot of custom working doors in this add-on. If you guys play Terraria, I feel like I'm going to be saying that particular phrase a lot in these types of videos. But if you guys play Terraria, you know how many kinds of doors there are. There's going to be a lot. And there's also going to be a lot of these other things, like bookcases, which actually do function as crafting tables, because obviously you can craft some things using bookcases. You know, we've got the Tinkerer's Workshop, we've got the hard mode anvils, we've got the normal anvils, we've got a Hellforge, oh, the clock. Alright, so the clock, obviously in the normal game, you interact with it and it tells you what time it is. Well, it's currently noon. So you kind of have to double click at first, but then you can like click again and it kind of just does its own thing. So a little buggy, but honestly, I'm not complaining about that. I'm not even going to bother fixing it because it functions, and although it's a little wonky, it does what it's supposed to. Alright, so the piano. In the normal game, the piano doesn't do anything, but just because I can, I made it so that when you tap the piano, it plays a note of a random pitch. So now you can actually use the piano to make music. Right, and alright, that's the workbench. Yes. Does this need any explanation? Does it? Okay, no. Didn't think so. And we have lizard bricks, which are, of course, next to impossible to mine. And the textures are random. Or, you know. And Harem actually gave me a more HD version of the textures that I made in admittedly kind of a rush. So the obsidian brick is looking a bit better now. And yes, these are the preset structures for the obsidian buildings that I am eventually going to make generate in the nether. But I, of course, have not finished that yet. It's actually way, way more unfinished than it looks. And, well, there are light sources. So the lantern cannot be placed like this, or on the side of blocks. It can only be placed on the bottom side. And if you click on it, it turns off the light, and that actually does get rid of its ability to emit light as well. So there's the lantern, and the candle. I think this is called the candelabra. The chandelier. The lamp. I didn't bother making this 2 blocks, but it shouldn't be too weird. Oh my god. It shouldn't be too weird. Alright, now the dresser, of course. Well, I can't interact with it here. The dresser. Hello? Oh, right, I disabled its events so that I could make the thing work. Alright, well, normally, when I'm not working on making obsidian and hellstone buildings, you would open it and, you know, an inventory would appear kind of like, it's basically a chest. But I disabled the event that allows you to do that because some of the buildings will generate with dressers, and if I didn't disable that event, then the dressers inside those building presets wouldn't work properly, so yeah. They will work in the fully released add-on, of course, but right now they are not done. And the sofa, instead of 1 seat, like all the other things have, including the bathtub, for some reason, the sofa, where is it? The sofa has 2 seats. So if I was in multiplayer right now, another person would be able to sit on the sofa right there. I actually have a screenshot of that. I got on with my alt, who still has the Xorkent 0 skin on, and that's what it looks like to have 2 people sitting in the same sofa. Alright, the table doesn't really do anything, of course. The bed is pretty interesting, if I can get down there. So the bed, as we know in Terraria, there is a sleeping mechanic, where if all players are sleeping in a bed, then time passes 5 times as fast. Now, I was not able to recreate that particular system, but I came up with a system that I think actually works a little bit better. So, instead of all players sleeping and then time passes by 5 times as fast, instead, the amount of time passes by, I think it's twice as fast or 3 times as fast for every person who is sleeping. So, alright, you know, for demonstration's sake, let's just say it's 3 times as fast. So, I am sleeping right now in the bed, and time is passing 3 times as fast. But if 2 people were sleeping in a bed, or if 2 people were sleeping at the same time, then time would pass 6 times as quickly. And if 6 people were all sleeping at the same time, time would pass 18 times as quickly. And, you know, I think you guys get it. So, yeah, sleeping mechanic kind of revised for the add-on. Now, what's next? We're kind of done with the obsidian furniture. That is gonna... I want to save that for later, because I've been working on that recently, and it's pretty cool. Right. So, I'm in charge of the bosses now. So, I created Skeletron, because why not? There's absolutely no order to what we're doing, and that is going to be further proof of that statement. But if we summon Skeletron... Oh, I have to set it to night, of course. I'll set it to sunrise so that you guys can still see. Alright. So... Alright, so this is Skeletron. And may I note, I can't really point there, but custom UI. Alright, so he does the thing, and this... Yeah, I just... Alright, can I... Alright. So yes, he goes into his rage mode. Alright, come on. Alright, yeah, so he basically just does that. It's basically the AI that normal Skeletron has. But, you know... Alright, so if I can actually... Alright. Alright, that's hard to do. Can I... Got it. Alright, so his hands die, you know, separately. Now that I'm going to talk about after I kill this man. Alright. So, apparently, certain damage sensors do not work at the moment. For example, suffocation does not work. So, I have nullified suffocation in, you know, Skeletron's code, but since damage sensors don't work properly at the moment, the game doesn't really know that. So, once it's fixed, he will automatically no longer take suffocation damage, but for the time being, since some damage sensors are broken, apparently one of them being suffocation damage, he will take, or his hands and his head will take suffocation damage. But I am hoping that they fix that before, you know, the official add-on release, because if everything can still take suffocation damage, by the time all of you guys can play the add-on, obviously all the boss fights are going to be extremely broken, and that's not going to be fun. But I have already, quote-unquote, nullified suffocation damage, so once they fix the damage sensors, Skeletron will automatically fix himself, which is nice. Now, of course, there is one more thing that we know Skeletron can do, and it's pretty mean to new players who don't know what the Dungeon Guardian is. I'm kind of spoiling that next thing. But, yes, Skeletron does have his Dungeon Guardian phase, so if we summon him again, and then set the time to noon, nooned apparently, Skeletron has been exposed to too much daylight and is now enraged. Better luck next time. Alright, so, yeah. Okay. Rendering issue. So, Skeletron is, yeah. Now here's the thing with that. Now obviously there is no way to, or there's no easy way, rather, to tell the game when a certain enemy has killed every single player. So what I've done instead is once Skeletron in his Dungeon Guardian form hits a player and kills them, he just despawns. Because obviously, since you can't tell the game to despawn Skeletron when all the players are dead, because the game doesn't know when to say that, then the Dungeon Guardian will, you know, be there forever, constantly killing all the players, and that's going to be very bad. Now it's time. Now it's time. And since there's no cultist and there's no dungeon, and in fact, there's only one pillar, the other three actually aren't in the game yet, there's only one way currently to spawn the pillar in, and it's this way. Right. So, immediately, you may notice quite a few things have changed. The most noticeable, obviously, being the sky is a very kind of edgy orange color. This is my best attempt at replicating the solar monolith kind of effect that, you know, the solar monolith itself and also the solar pillar give you when you're close to it. It's honestly the best we can do because the planet, the asteroid things in the background, you can't really make those because, I mean, if you're playing multiplayer, which lots of you might actually be, you know, enjoying this add-on together with a friend, cool stuff, then it would mess up the UV rendering stuff and that would be annoying. I have a feeling only half of you actually know what I'm talking about, and that's totally fine with me. Alright, so the pillar shoots out the solar fireball things. That's what I call them, solar fireballs. Just like it does in the original game. And this shield texture is, it's very low effort, and LexArt is currently working on a higher effort one. And it will be an animated texture, like with that circular pulse thing that some of you may have noticed in the original game. But yes, obviously. I mean, come on, people, that's the first thing I did. That's the first thing I implemented on the pillar. No, you can't damage the pillar while its shield is up, and I think I would have just gotten hit by a solar fireball there. There's things, despite being 3D and despite me, like, tripling how many fireballs get yeeted, they're actually pretty easy to dodge. Who would have known that adding a third dimension to the game would have made fireballs so much easier to dodge? Everyone, probably. But yeah, if you hit them, they will... It's hard to do, because these things really go everywhere. Alright, let me hit this one. God, they're so hard. Alright, so that one just disappeared. So you can stop the fireballs from hitting you by attacking them. They are a one-hit KO, so they're not very hard to get rid of. And these things, I mean, if you haven't used any life crystals, they do 24 damage. Which is properly scaled down, by the way. So, they will insta-kill you. I mean, to be fair, if you have, like, full life crystals and life roots and defense and everything, I mean, it's just as weird as fighting the solar pillar with no armor in the actual Terraria, which we can all agree is pretty weird. So, yeah. Weird animation that LexArt and Harem bothered me to make. Now, I think that is everything. Oh, well, yeah, cool particle. No one cares. I'll put up 3 images on screen of the other pillars that LexArt has actually finished, and I have actually downloaded them in my add-ons game files, but I currently have not made the actual pillars because I could only be bothered to make one. But I will work on the other ones later. Now, of course, there's only one way to get rid of the solar pillar's shield, which is kill enemies. And conveniently, I do actually have one enemy Harem64 made a Selenium model and a couple animations. And, I mean, it took a month to get this video out. At this point, I was just like, you know what, I don't really care about the AI, I just want to make this thing so I can be able to kill it and get its, like, you know, the released energy to hit the pillar. So we have the Selenium. Obviously, as I just said, its AI is nowhere close to done. It behaves more like a baby zombie at the moment. A really, really fast baby zombie with 18 attack damage, because that is also properly scaled down. It has 160 health, again scaled down because in the normal game it has 800. So, like I said, currently no movement AI whatsoever. The only AI it has at the moment is... oh god. Is... follow the player AI and attack it and do 18 damage. And I'm going to show you that. Alright, so one heart remaining, which is 18... okay, I died. Alright, hey, get over here. Alright, so that's the released energy. And as you can see from the boss bar, the shield did get damaged. Oh, okay, shoot. Ooh. Ah. Okay, come on. There we go. So obviously the shield is getting damaged, and if you want to know the exact number, it's 100 enemies that you have to kill until the shield is done. And for those of you who are complaining that that's a lot, in expert mode you have to kill 150, okay? And we're not doing expert mode, we're doing normal mode. This add-on is calibrated to normal mode stuff. So, don't you complain at all. If anything, honestly, I might be a little crazy for saying this, but the solar pillar is actually my favorite pillar. The other pillar, like Vortex, is too easy. Or it's not too easy, it's just boring, because you can literally just fly in a straight line and avoid every single attack. Stardust is nice, but again, it's a bit too easy. Nebula is just painful. Like, it's not even fun, it's just painful. Solar, yes, it's painful, but it's fun. Because, oh my god, I know how to kill crawltipedes. I have a strategy. I literally can fly in the air and I don't have to worry about crawltipedes. I don't know if I should be flexing that, but yeah, that's a pretty big flex. All the other pillars, I mean, some of them are fun, others are not, but the solar pillar, to me, just feels like straight up Doom. It's just you versus all the enemies, and like with the orange background and stuff, it really does feel like Doom. And it's so fun. But yeah, I'm going to just, you know. So there are 4 variants of the release energy. There's the solar one, which obviously pathfinds towards the solar pillar. Oh yeah, by the way, I don't know if anyone may have noticed, you probably did. Custom hurt color. It's not red, it's orange. But yeah, the Vortex release energy pathfinds towards the Vortex pillar, which currently doesn't exist. But the one way I can prove that is just by showing that it doesn't go to the solar pillar. So let me just... yep, that stays there. Nebula, yep. Stardust, yep. Solar, oh. Alright, let me get rid of these. Alright, so I'm just going to spam the released energy, and I will cut to when the shield gets deleted. Alright, here we go. Alright, one more. And I just want you guys to see the shield break animation because it's pretty cool. Oh, come on. I misjudged it. Alright, this is the one. Alright, so the shield, just like in the normal game, or, you know, kind of like in the normal game, grows in size a bit and then just kind of fades away. That was my best attempt at replicating that. But yeah, so obviously now you can actually damage the solar pillar. I'm not using the zenith because that actually insta-kills it. But yeah. So yeah, now you can damage the solar pillar. Pretty cool. And I guess now we can actually take a better look at it and appreciate LexArt's model just a little bit more, now that it's not covered by a shield. Cool vines and stuff. Cool crack vein thingies. Cool teeth things. I don't really know what those are called. Particle stuff. Whoops. Yeah, it yeets out fireballs because that's awesome, as we all know, and of course that's what the actual solar pillar does. Alright, we're done. I said we're done. Alright. Clearly something is not right with the zenith. I will take a look at that after the video. But yeah, obviously the fog disappears, all that stuff, and of course the solar energy does not do anything now. So that is actually it for the second update video. I am going to share a couple other things. Like, I am going to, I guess, tease a bit for the next video, like what you can expect. I'm basically just going to show a bunch of what's in the works and announce a couple things that I currently haven't started, but I do plan to finish by the next video. So, on screen right now are some of the models that currently aren't actually in the add-on, but are finished and are ready to have, you know, actual uses and stuff and code applied to them. The armor was made by Harem64. Most of the entities were made by Harem64. Of course, the pillars were made by LexArt, but I already showed you the pillars, so. So now I'm going to announce a couple things that you can expect to see in progress update number 3. The first one is the party system, or like the team system from Terraria. If you guys don't know, Terraria has a kind of built-in team system where there's like a red team, a blue team, a green team, yellow, I think there's also orange, purple, pink, and something else. I don't remember. Oh yeah, obviously neutral, no party. But yeah, so I'm going to be implementing that, and I'm also going to be obviously finishing the obsidian buildings. And in terms of bosses and enemies, I don't think I'm going to continue the solar pillar or just the pillar related stuff at the moment. I kind of just wanted to create one pillar. Alright, honestly, the real reason I made the solar pillar is just so I could experiment with the boss bar UI, you know, because it has 2 layers of health. So I wanted to see if I had the coding knowledge in me to be able to, you know, make the blue boss bar successfully go on top of the red boss bar, and I did. So now that I'm done with that, I'm going to be working on other stuff such as the Eater of Worlds, possibly Plantera, and Mr. Devil. That was obviously the first boss that he worked on, or he started, he did not finish it. And honestly, yeah, I don't really know what else. I might start the dungeon generation, but I'm definitely not going to have finished that by the next video. Even if the next video takes another month to come out, I definitely will not have done that. So, yeah, honestly, other than that, I really don't know what's next. So, yeah, hopefully you guys didn't get too impatient with waiting for this next update video. It was fun recording this. I know it's at least 40 minutes long now, and there's nothing more to say, so I will see you all in update number 3. And Harem64 may or may not be in the world with me. So yeah, bye! Man, alright, well I have to put something here so that the video will continue and I can put the end screen up with the extra video recommendations and stuff. That was long. That was actually just over 40 minutes long. I'm gonna go take a JSAB break. I deserve it. Just Shapes and Beats is a great game. You should play it.